In about an hour's time, the boatyard are going to be bringing Stowaway down through this slip behind me. So here is the bracket, and it's got to go up there, somewhere in the middle. I'll figure that out. The top part of this has got to go about 13 centimetres lower than the lip of the transom, so that the control line hitch on the pendulum itself is about level with the deck. So you can adjust it slightly, but I've kind of got to get this bit critical and get these holes drilled in the proper place. This is going to be quite hard because I've got nowhere to actually mount the camera to show you, but just turn that around. I've just marked a centre line there and a top of the head mark there, and it's about here, but I've just got to kind of line that up a little bit better, but that's roughly around where that's got to go. So I've just marked the holes, and I'm going to start off with a small drill bit first, I think. But first I'm just going to double check the distance of those holes from the top. 190 mil there, 190 mil there, 200 there. They're a little bit out there. So there's like a support section and the inside, and I think it runs like there. But I'm going to drill this hole and I'm going to see where it comes out. I'm just checking out the gas bucket, and it's there it is. That's fine, it clears it pretty well. That's excellent. Check. That's good. Doing this with a head torch on in a little while. I think I'll just get the other bolt done and then call it a day. Not going to be able to do this in the dark. Night mission accomplished. I can't find anything I've put down on the floor. So back here again, and what I was going to do is, even though these drive shields have these little, well, they're sort of compressed onto the bellows with this very nice looking stainless coupling, and then it's pins to the prop shaft with these little screws. But what can happen is that the screws get loose around the shaft. There's only two tiny little Allen screws there, and slide forward and then start letting water in. So I'm going to put this clip around the front of it, just for safe measure. It's about a £5 clip or something like that, stainless, and just to compress around there, just in case that coupler wants to slide forward. It can't because of this section here. I don't know how long that's going to last with the rest, but yeah, we'll see. Can only give it a go. There we go, that's on there, tightened up, and just a bit of peace of mind really. Stop that coupling shoving forward. So this is the hatch for the cockpit, and it's sort of been mentioned that these aren't got much in the way of sort of foot loading, so liable for cracking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some polyurethane resin. I've just cut these shapes out from the 450 gram chop strand. I'm just going to fill that in as best I can and try and get a little bit more support, structural sort of strength, if you like, built into the undersurface of the hatch. So yeah, let's see how that goes. I've just got to avoid trying to get any resin around the outside where the seal's going to go. I could use epoxy resin on this, but it takes a lot of resin to absorb into the strand mat. So if I'm using epoxy, I'm going to get through quite a bit, and I've got a whole tub of polyester there. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Measure that up and get them filled into the little squares there. I'm just going to get a just need to find a little brush, and then I'll be away. There we go. Just laid up, actually 250 grams was pretty spot on for that. But yeah, it just get the hatch nice and level, and yeah, with the pieces in, and then just pour it in. Has just slightly gone that way, so I think the just slightly gone that way, so I think might need to level it up a little bit more. Oh, this is a better view. Just putting in the spray head. Obviously I had to remove a lot of the bits and pieces, so I'm just kind of positioning this as best I can so it's nice and tight, if you like, for when it's actually in position. Hopefully I can get that in a good position, otherwise it's going to look a bit sloppy, but I think about there would probably do it. I was going to ask to have like a spray cover, like a zip spray cover to block out any sort of weather from astern entering in the cockpit. I think that's a really cool idea, and yeah, I'll probably get something like that made up at some point. I suppose it couldn't be too hard to actually do myself, but like a plastic sheet, like a plastic guard around there. But yeah, just for now, I think just get this in position. But I'm so impressed with this. It's much better visibility. So today I have got my new solar panel on the deck. You might be able to see it. There it is. Just rerouting the cables coming out from the charge controller a little bit better, so it's not out through the cockpit hatch like it has been. I managed to just route that up here alongside this thing. I was actually going to use this for putting the AIS transponder, which I had planned to purchase, but I've put it down there instead because it looks neater. This is not the easiest job. This little connection here, which is like the male connector, it's completely corroded, so that's what I kind of had to try and retract out of that. It was just a big mess, so I've got the soldering iron out now, and I'm just gonna have to resolder this into position so that can go back into the plug, and then I can actually use this to connect to the solar panel. This is like a splitter, so I've got well, it's like a pairing cable for the roving panel, so I can connect that up easy enough as and when I need it. One of the jobs I needed to do is clean out the water tanks under the floorboards. There's about 45 gallons in total, I think I've read somewhere, but they did need a good clean out. The sort of surface has started to kind of flake a little bit, so they needed to be removed before any sort of fresh water was filled. It's a little bit of a mission to get to in various places. Once all the bleach is along the walls of the water tanks, you can kind of start to shift it a bit easier. But yeah, it is a bit of a pain in the neck job. I see a lot of boat owners now are fitting flexible water tanks instead of using their sort of factory fitted tanks, because if you've got any issues with them, you can just throw them away. So I'm going to fill these with water now, and I'm going to add in some pure clean, some disinfectant, and that'll sit in the system for about 12 to 24 hours, and then I'll flush it all out and then rinse it about 2 or 3 times to make sure everything's cleared. Generally speaking, not too bad. Most of that mould lifted quite well, but obviously I usually just do a clean to make sure all the pipes are cleared out and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll fill it up and get some pure cleaning. I was keen to get the stack pack on the boom sort of in position and fitted, make sure everything was aligned to the for the mainsail. I can actually still tie a bowline. That's good, isn't it? So here is a stack pack in position, and just I think them zips are just the right position for coming into the blocks there, which is perfect. That's what I need. And now the next bit, let's see how we're going to get these this mainsail into position. I've got a feeling that the boom is a little bit too high, but I'll have to just see how that looks. I'll put the stack pack on first, so then I can roll or position the mainsail into the stack pack, so there's no issue with it falling down on the deck and landing in all this pigeon crap, which is covering my deck at the minute. I'm not very happy about that, to be honest. The wind is still a little bit high for hoisting this, so I think I might just put this in position, get it on the track as much as I can, and then maybe hoist first thing in the morning when the wind's a lot lighter, and put the battens in, because they're fully battened, so they take a bit of effort to, you know, guide all the way in while it's furled. So yeah, I'll do that tomorrow, I think. So finally, after about 8.5 months of graft, about 1,200 hours spent on this boat, decided enough was enough, and it's time to go sailing again, and requested a launch for the second week in May. The weather's been absolutely amazing, so it's been a real incentive for me to just get on with a lot of these jobs. There's been a big push to try and get as much of the little jobs as possible, but obviously there's always going to be little jobs on a boat to do, but the main thing was that the cosmetic work had been completed in much better shape, probably the best shape she's been in quite a few years. One of the jobs I needed to do was to check the engine before launch, and make sure everything was okay. Getting quite a lot of interest by this stage, because it was the boat was finally in sort of broad view and everyone could have a good look around. So I've just got the hose running out to start the engine. Got the bucket there, and then so the hose is running out into the bucket. I'll let that fill up, and I can't believe that's the size of the intake, but it is what it is. So then I've got another hose running from that bucket up there. Hopefully that'll stay in position, otherwise I'm going to have to get some tape. Okay, so just make sure the intake valve is open, which it is, and put some power on this thing. I couldn't quite believe how easy it was to start the engine after 9 months of being sat there not doing anything, but yeah, that was a successful start and didn't have anything to worry about. Now it's over to the boatyard now. I think I'll bring the tractor up and hitch the cradle onto it, bring the cradle with Stowaway in down towards the pin mill hard here, which has been used by Thames barges for hundreds of years for renovation work, because it's a solid flat lying surface that dries out for quite an extensive period of time before the tide comes back into the river. So I haven't been down on this pontoon for feels like ages. In about an hour's time the boatyard are going to be bringing Stowaway down through this slip behind me using the tractor, and Stowaway obviously on the cradle, and bringing it down to this set of posts just over there, and then the tide basically comes up. As the tide comes up, the boat starts to float again. So this is how they launch the boats here down at Pinmill. Tow her out with the launch, which is there, and over to my mooring, which is way off in the distance. Actually, it's quite a fair distance down the river. Yeah, fingers crossed we don't run into any issues at all. I just want everything to work well today, so I can get the Genera out and go sailing again. So here we go. She's looking absolutely amazing. Really special day, and I just want to kind of thank everyone for following the refit. It's been a hell of a learning experience for me, and it's all kind of come down to this point where she's going back in the water again, looking a bit more respectful than what she did when she came out. So yeah, let's see how today goes. So I just brought the dinghy down, and tide's already coming up pretty fast. So by the time I dump the car and come back, there'll be water around here. I just head down to Stowaway. I think the keel's now touched on the tide is now touching the keel. Just rowed out and looks like it's just started to take on the tide. It's still going to be a while yet though before I can do anything, so I'm gonna give my engine a little bit of a run in. I think it's been a few months. The water is unbelievably clear here today. Just come up here. Yeah, this is a lovely little sandy point just in the middle of the river, on the beach, on the bank. My mooring is somewhere just over here, so it's quite close to this beach, so I'm kind of keen to come up here again and have a little bit of an evening out. Family along or some friends or whatever. So yeah, I better go pull my dinghy up a bit more. Tide's coming up so fast. It's already afloat. I've only been up here a couple of minutes. But what a day this is. It's going to be like this for a little while as well, so it's absolutely gorgeous. So back at Pin Mill, there was not too much more tide required before the prop was completely submerged. It was a 4 metre tide that day. It was only about 2 hours before high water at this point. Well, I've just been having a bit of a chat with a few people, and the tide has shot up. Literally only been about half an hour, but we are now really coming up to high water. About another hour. It's 4 metres today, I've just found out, so yeah, I'm going to have enough water now. It's about probably coming up to about 50 minutes before high water, and it looks like the tide is up well over the prop and the engine intake, so I'm going to go out now and just check her out. Actually quite nervous about this, to be honest. After checking over the engine and the prop shaft seal, all was good, so the King's team came out and moved about out into the river, finally afloat after 9 months, which is a great feeling. Felt really weird, to be honest, but yeah, when we eventually turned the boat around the right way, actually got a real buzz going back out into the river, and within minutes we were back on the mooring again. So there it is, project completed, Stowaway afloat, and this can become a sailing channel once again. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been following the channel. I know I just said it earlier, but I do want to say thank you for those who have commented and followed and showed any amount of interest. It means a good deal, especially for the amount of effort that I put into the videos and getting them on the channel. If you are new to the channel and like the content, then please feel free to subscribe and give us a thumbs up whereas you please. So yeah, there you go. The next episode I'm going to be covering, hopefully if I can get over to it, is the Ostend Maritime Festival, or Ostend voor Anker as it's known. Big maritime festival on the Belgium coast at Ostend. And my intention is to get over there next weekend when it takes place and to get plenty of footage, because it looks amazing. They've got a website, I'll leave it in the descriptions box, below. If you can't get over in your boat, it's definitely worth even just going around in the car for the weekend if you're this side of the country. Along with that, I'm also going to be talking a little bit about the trip I've got planned for this year, the big one. 6 weeks away, and it's going to be starting sort of middle of July. So yeah, I'll be following or including that in the next episode in a bit more detail. It's still a little bit ropey as to where I'm actually going to go. I've got a plan A trip and a plan B trip. And yeah, the plan A trip is a little bit rugged at the minute. I've got to say, it based on world events. So yeah, that is that for now. And I will cover that in the next episode. So again, thanks very much for watching. It really is much appreciated, and I'll look forward again to seeing you in the next episode. Cheers.